What does a story sound like? If you close your eyes during your favourite film, you don't just hear the dialogue, you hear a world, you hear the characters, the danger, the emotion, the environment, everything happening around. This is an aural world, built for you. But when it's done really, really well, you kind of don't even notice it. It just becomes accepted as part of the narrative, as one of the characters. We're going to go over some of the key factors of building these aural worlds with some examples from some of our favourite films. We're going to look at these sonic worlds, how they were built, and look at some of the techniques that you can apply in your own productions, with some sound design help and ideas along the way. This aural world is built from the ground up, sound by sound, and not always just to tell the visual that's on the screen, but we have things like atonal sounds to give you that sense of suspense and awkwardness, storytelling happening off screen, sound cues, think of Predator and the Brams from War of the Worlds. First, let's look at the building blocks of this. Ambient sound. Think of this as the air, the sound that is always persistent whether there is dialogue or something happening in the scene. Just an empty street will still have its own ambient sound, its hum. This is the baseline that defines a space. A quiet forest still has the rustling of leaves, the gentle wind, perhaps the odd bird in the distance. Unless, of course, it's Alien Covenant.
No birds, no animals.
The non-stop drowning rain of a dystopian city, like we see in Altered Carbon and Blade Runner.
To begin again in a golden land of opportunity and...
The first absolutely inspired by the latter. Then you have Foley. Foley is where the magic of realism happens. We're talking about seemingly mundane sound, footsteps, rustle of clothing, the clink of a glass as it's set down onto a bar. These are painstakingly recreated by Foley artists, but there's an overlap here with sound design as well. Sometimes Foley cannot exist for what we see on screen, it's not real. Sound design, and we have to imagine that sound being created. Foley and the sound design sit on top of the ambient sound. You have the hum and the chatter of a bar scene, and then the glass being set down is part of the Foley that sits on that ambient. These sound design elements enhance the realism. They can define a character's actions and also help you for what to pay attention to in the scene, what else is happening, but also ground it in the realism that what you see is where you are. Then we have sound effects, or SFX. Unfortunately, that shares with the special effects realm as well. These are specific spot sounds. Things like a gunshot, which could be Foley, but is much more likely to be a designed, built sound. A door slam, a spaceship's engine is really a sound design aspect because, well, we can't go and Foley record the sound of a spaceship engine. It has to be built and designed to suit the imagination of what's being seen on screen. How would this thing sound? When all these elements merge together, it's more than just the noise of the scene. They become the story. Putting together all these sounds in one cohesive environment takes a huge amount of work, and even just marking where every single sound needs to appear across a film is dozens upon dozens of hours of work. That's actually the problem we're trying to solve here at Black Goblin with our tool Thol, which automatically scans over scenes and creates those markers. In the next episode, we'll have a look at some examples from Mad Max Fury Road and how we can go about creating our ambiences and our sound layers and building them up to tell that story.